If you have passed your 60th birthday and still experience a lingering sense of apprehension whenever you prepare a simple egg, please understand that you are far from alone in this reaction. I observe this specific hesitation constantly within my practice among smart, health-focused women who have spent decades attempting to make the right choices, yet they still pause daily to question if this food is genuinely safe. The uncomfortable reality I must share immediately is that this deep-seated fear was implanted years ago by scientific data that is now obsolete. This anxiety has quietly followed you into your kitchen and influenced your nutritional decisions for a very long time. I am Dr. Lisa Periera, and I have dedicated over 30 years to helping women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s protect their cardiovascular health and metabolism through nutrition rooted in evidence. Today, we intend to settle one of the most perplexing dietary debates of your generation because eggs represent far more than mere calories. They serve as a marker of identity, given that women who eat eggs with assurance tend to feel more robust, steady, and in command of their physical well-being. Conversely, women who harbor fear of them often feel restricted, confused, and silently concerned they might be committing a dietary error. If you remain watching this content, that fact alone reveals something vital about your character, as you are no longer willing to blindly follow antiquated rules. You desire distinct clarity rather than continued fear, so before we proceed, please take a moment to share where you are tuning in from. Are you located here in the United States, perhaps in Florida, Texas, California, or New York? Or are you joining us from another region of the globe? It brings me great joy to witness how expansive and global this community of women over 60 has become. Now allow me to introduce a concept that may startle you, which is that the reason eggs became demonized in your mind has almost nothing to do with the eggs themselves. In past decades of nutritional research, scientists made a critical error by rarely examining eggs in isolation. They were typically grouped with bacon, processed white toast, sugary pancakes, and industrial seed oils, which completely skewed the resulting data. The entire breakfast meal was condemned by researchers, and the humble egg unfairly shouldered the blame for the damage caused by its processed accompaniments. That resulting confusion persisted because physicians repeated it, media outlets amplified it, and women like you paid the price by eliminating one of the most nourishing foods available. However, modern investigative research has shifted the landscape entirely, and today's data is cleaner, more precise, and substantially more honest. When eggs are studied independently, particularly regarding older adults, the picture appears vastly different and far more positive. Eggs consistently emerge as one of the most nutrient-dense and metabolically supportive foods you can consume, and for the vast majority of women over 60, eating eggs regularly is protective. Before we discuss specific quantities, such as how many eggs per day you require, we must correct another deception that most people never think to challenge. The supermarket egg carton creates an illusion, as you are flooded with labels like cage-free, free-range, and vegetarian-fed when you walk down the aisle. It looks reassuring, but a significant portion is simply marketing noise because cage-free does not necessarily imply they are free to roam outdoors. Free-range can legally denote access to only a tiny concrete patch, and vegetarian-fed sounds healthy until you realize chickens are not naturally vegetarians. Chickens are meant to forage for insects and bugs in their environment, which creates a vastly different nutritional profile in the egg. This is where women who value long-term health separate themselves from the crowd by selecting higher quality options. The superior choice is pasture-raised, preferably organic, as these eggs come from hens that live on grass and consume their natural ancestral diet. These hens produce eggs enriched with significantly more vitamin A, vitamin E, omega-3 fatty acids, choline, and other vital nutrients like vitamin K2. They are fundamentally not the same food product, and this highlights an identity moment I want you to notice. Women who choose quality over fear are not being extreme, they are simply being informed. In the next section, I will explain why eggs are considered one of nature's most complete nutritional tools for your aging body. We will also address the cholesterol myth that frightened an entire generation of women, as this is where the science becomes highly compelling. Eggs are not powerful due to a single isolated nutrient, but rather they are powerful because of how many bodily systems they support simultaneously. Consider your body at this stage of life, where muscle naturally declines, brain chemistry becomes more sensitive, and inflammation becomes easier to trigger. You do not require larger volumes of food, you need smarter food choices, which is where eggs quietly rise to the top of the ranking. A single egg delivers complete protein, meaning every essential amino acid your body needs to maintain muscle and repair tissue is already present in the correct ratio. This importance increases significantly after 60 because age-related muscle loss is not cosmetic. It directly affects balance, strength, and independence. Eggs are among the easiest proteins for older adults to digest and utilize, meaning your body does not have to work overtime to break them down. Now add fats that support hormones and cell membranes, along with fat-soluble vitamins that your bones, brain, and immune system rely upon. Add minerals like selenium and zinc that quietly support thyroid function and immune resilience, creating a comprehensive support system. There is one specific nutrient I want you to remember because it changes how women feel day to day, and that nutrient is choline. Most women are deficient in choline without realizing it, yet it supports memory, focus, mood, nerve signaling, and liver health. Eggs are one of the richest natural sources of it, which is why many women report feeling mentally clearer and more stable when eggs become a regular habit. Here is the ranking truth that often surprises people, which is that the nutrients in eggs are highly bioavailable. This means your body absorbs and uses them more efficiently than nutrients from many plant sources. So it is not just what is on the label, but what actually reaches your cells. Now we must address the subject that scared a generation of women away from eggs, which is the topic of cholesterol. This is where outdated fear caused genuine damage, because for decades women were told that dietary cholesterol directly translated into heart disease. That message was repeated so often it became an unquestioned truth, but modern science relates a very different narrative about how your biology works. Your liver produces roughly 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol every single day, and it does this whether you consume cholesterol in your diet or not. When cholesterol enters through food, your liver simply makes less, and when you eat very little, your liver makes more to compensate. This feedback system is inherently built into your biology, so for the majority of people, dietary cholesterol has little to no impact on blood cholesterol levels. What actually drives harmful LDL changes are sugar, refined carbohydrates, chronic inflammation, oxidized oils, and chronic stress. Eggs were blamed for a health crisis they did not initiate because cholesterol itself is not the enemy, it is an essential repair molecule. Your body uses it to build cell membranes, produce hormones, create vitamin D, digest fats, and heal damaged tissue. Therefore, when cholesterol shows up in areas of damage, it is responding to injury rather than causing it, which constitutes a major identity shift. Women who understand this stop fearing nourishing foods and start focusing on what truly protects their heart long term. Now we move into the ranking most people are waiting for, which is determining how many eggs you can safely eat per day. There is no single universal number for everyone because your individual bodily context matters, but research provides strong ranges. For most healthy adults, 2 to 3 eggs per day consistently show no increased risk and often show benefits when eaten as part of a whole foods diet. For older adults, this range is especially meaningful because 2 to 3 eggs per day can support muscle retention, energy, and satiety without raising blood sugar. For women who are metabolically healthy with stable lab results and low inflammation, intake can often go higher without any issue. For women managing insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes, eggs are uniquely helpful because they contain virtually no carbohydrates and help stabilize glucose. This is why blanket limits never worked, because your body is not average. It is specific to your personal biology. In the next part, I am going to break this down person by person to see who can comfortably eat more and who should start slower. This is where you begin using eggs as a tool instead of treating them like a risk to be managed. We now get practical because this is where clarity replaces confusion. So instead of asking vague questions, we rank egg intake based on who you are. If you are a generally healthy adult woman over 60 with no diabetes and stable labs, your sweet spot is usually 2 to 3 eggs per day. This amount consistently shows benefits for muscle support, fullness, steady energy, and essential nutrient intake. Many women feel more satisfied and less driven to snack when eggs are part of their routine, which helps with weight management. If you are active or rebuilding strength, perhaps walking daily or doing light strength training, 3 to 4 eggs per day can be extremely supportive. Your body becomes less efficient at using protein with age, and eggs solve that problem quietly and efficiently. If you are dealing with insulin resistance or type 2 diabetes, eggs are not the enemy. In fact, they can be a stabilizer because they do not spike blood sugar. Starting with 1 to 2 eggs per day is safe for most women in this group, and if your diet is low in sugar, 3 eggs is often well tolerated. If your cholesterol numbers have worried you in the past, this is where most women feel anxious. But here is the grounded truth. For the majority of women, 1 to 2 eggs per day does not increase heart risk, so the priority is not cutting eggs but reducing sugar. Older adults deserve special mention because after 60, sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle, becomes a real health risk. Eggs are one of the easiest ways to deliver high-quality protein without heavy digestion challenges, and 1 to 2 eggs daily can make a meaningful difference. You may have heard about people eating 6 or even 10 eggs per day and doing well, which does happen in specific contexts. But that is not a starting point, it is a choice made by people who have eliminated the true drivers of metabolic damage. This is not about copying extremes, it is about finding your own lane, so we need to talk about who should slow down. If you have a confirmed egg allergy, eggs are obviously not appropriate, and if you have a rare genetic condition like familial hypercholesterolemia, you need medical guidance. If you have had your gallbladder removed or struggle with fat digestion, start with 1 egg per day and build slowly. If you are sensitive to histamines, eggs should be cooked fresh and not reheated, because caution is not fear, it is awareness. Now let me say something that many women overlook, which is that how you cook eggs matters just as much as how many you eat. High heat damages delicate fats and oxidizes cholesterol, which changes how your body responds to the food, so the healthiest methods are gentle. Soft-boiled, hard-boiled, poached, over-easy, or scrambled slowly on low heat using butter or olive oil are the best choices. A soft golden yolk is a sign of nourishment, not danger, whereas burnt browned eggs cooked in harsh oils are not the same food. This constitutes another quiet identity shift because women who cook gently are not being picky, they are being biologically intelligent. In the next part, I am going to give you simple daily egg strategies based on your goal, whether it is energy, weight stability, or muscle protection. This is where eggs stop being a question and start becoming a tool you can use with confidence. I want you to picture something with me because this is where information turns into lived experience. A few years ago, a woman in her late 60s sat across from me in my office, having done everything she thought was right for decades. She ate low-fat, egg whites only, and light toast, yet she was disciplined, careful, and constantly tired. Her words to me were simple and honest, saying she felt like she was shrinking and her strength was fading. Nothing was wrong with her willpower, but her body was undernourished, so we slowly reintroduced whole eggs, not in excess or recklessly. We started with 1 egg at first, then 2, paired with vegetables and cooked gently. Within weeks, she noticed something subtle but important as she stayed full longer and her energy stopped crashing mid-morning. Her balance felt steadier, and her confidence around food returned because this is not about eggs magically fixing everything. It is about giving your body signals it recognizes, because after 60, your body is no longer asking for restriction, it is asking for support. Eggs provide signals of safety by offering enough protein, enough fat, and enough micronutrients to maintain what you have worked a lifetime to build. This is why daily egg intake often leads to unexpected changes, like fewer cravings, more stable moods, less grazing, and better morning energy. Let me give you simple daily frameworks so you can apply this without overthinking your meals. If your goal is steady weight and appetite control, 2 to 3 eggs with vegetables is one of the most effective breakfasts you can eat. It stabilizes insulin and reduces the urge to snack later, while if your goal is muscle protection, 3 to 4 eggs with carbohydrates works well. If your goal is focus and mental clarity, 2 to 3 eggs with avocado or olive oil support choline intake and brain signaling. If you are a senior prioritizing longevity and independence, 1 to 2 eggs with greens is a gentle but powerful daily foundation. If mornings are rushed, 2 boiled eggs with fruit can carry you much farther than cereal or toast ever will. Notice the pattern: Eggs are not the entire meal, they are the anchor, and this is how women who age well think about food. Here is an important identity moment I want to lock in. Women who thrive after 60 are not eating less food, they are eating more intentional food. Eggs are part of that identity, not because they are trendy, but because they quietly solve multiple problems at once. In the final part, I am going to bring this together and help you decide exactly where you fit. This is where certainty replaces doubt, so let me bring everything together calmly and clearly. If there is one message I want you to walk away with today, it is this: eggs were never the problem, confusion was. For most women over 60, eggs are one of the safest, most supportive foods you can include regularly. They provide protein your muscles can actually use, fats your hormones recognize, and nutrients your brain and nerves depend on. 2 to 3 eggs per day is a solid, evidence-based range for most healthy women. 1 to 2 eggs per day is an excellent starting point if you are cautious, managing cholesterol concerns, or rebuilding digestion. More than that can be appropriate in specific contexts, but it is not required to see benefits, so this is not about chasing numbers. Pay attention to how you feel after eating eggs, focusing on your fullness, energy, clarity, and cravings. These signals matter more than old headlines ever did, and there are only a few groups who should move more carefully. Women with true egg allergies, rare genetic lipid disorders, or significant fat digestion challenges need to build slowly. In those cases, personalized guidance matters, but for everyone else, eggs can be a steady ally. I want to speak directly to something deeper here, as many women your age were taught that aging meant restriction. But the women who age the strongest are not living smaller lives, they are nourishing their bodies with intention and respect. Choosing to eat eggs without fear is not about rebellion, it is about self-trust. When you understand the science, you stop outsourcing your decisions to outdated advice and become calm, steady, and grounded in your choices. That is the identity shift that supports healthy aging more than any single food ever could. Now that you know how many eggs you can safely eat per day, the natural next question is what actually happens inside your body. That is exactly what we will explore next, the effects on your brain, metabolism, and muscle that most people never talk about. If you found this helpful, stay with this channel because this is where we replace fear with clarity. We help women over 60 age with strength and confidence. Before we close, let me remind you this video is for educational purposes only and does not replace medical advice. Every woman's body is unique, so if you are experiencing pain or significant changes, please consult with your healthcare provider. Your well-being deserves personalized care, so take good care of yourself.